and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Laurel, and today I will be showing you how to cook mini quiche. First thing, before we get started, I'm going to wash my hands. So turn on the water and wait till it gets to be around 100 degrees. Very important to wash your hands before you get started cooking. Keep everything sanitary. So it's pretty hot. I'm going to get my hands wet, get some soap. I'm going to scrub. You want to be scrubbing for at least 20 seconds. Scrub all around underneath your nails, up your wrists. You want to make sure you've got your sleeves up and back on your arms there so your sleeves aren't getting in your food while you're cooking. So I've got a nice lather, nice and clean. The water's nice and hot, and then I just rinse the soap off really well. Get my single-use towel, dry my hands, and turn off the water. Now we're ready to get started cooking. Welcome back. Now that we've got our hands washed, we're ready to start cooking. And today, again, we're making mini quiche. So I've already started to heat the oven at 350 degrees, and I've got my pan heating here. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ingredients that we'll be using today. So here, I've got 2 cloves of garlic and 4 green onions. And here I have 3/4 cup of corn, a cup of chopped mushrooms, cup of chopped broccoli, and then I also have a teaspoon of basil in there, and then I also have some salt. And then over here we've got a can of tuna, some great northern beans, and you can find these anywhere at the supermarket, and I found them at Whole Foods, but they're a very common bean. You can also substitute in any other kind of bean that you like. And then I've got a can of tongal tuna in water, and that we want it in water and not oil if possible. And then also we've got here some parsley. So we'll be cooking with all these ingredients today, as well as a little bit of pepper if you like, and this is the canola spray to spray in our pan. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is lift up our pan and spray nice little coat of oil in there to keep things from sticking. And then we're going to go ahead and put in our garlic and onions. Get those going. We're going to cook those for about 2 minutes before we add any of the other ingredients. And we've got to stir those up. Get them nice and cooked. And I just want to take a moment to say that we want to be practicing sanitary practices in the kitchen. So one of those would be I have my hair back. I'm not wearing any jewelry today. I'm wearing an apron. It all helps us to keep the food safe while we're cooking. So we'll cook that up. And it's starting to smell really nice. The next thing we're going to do is add our vegetables. And first I want to say a little thing about adding the vegetables. Of course, you can use any vegetable that you like here, so you can substitute in a variety of vegetables. But what you want is about a total of 3 cups of vegetables. So we've got corn here. We've also got the broccoli, which has a lot of great phytochemicals and phytonutrients. And then we also have the mushrooms, which also have a lot of vitamins. And so we're going to go ahead and add those. I think this is just about ready. And you can tell when when the garlic starts to brown, that's when it's time to be adding your other vegetables. So go ahead and do that now. So add the corn, make sure we get it all in there. Broccoli. And the mushrooms. Okay. So stir all those in together. Get them nice and cooked up. Oops. Sometimes things fly out of the pan. That's okay. You just clean them up with your to do is mash up our beans. So there's 1 cup of beans here. We've got a clean fork. We just want to mash these up. These are great northern beans, but you can use any bean you like. And you don't want them to be, it's not a paste, so you don't need to put it into a blender. You can just kind of mash them up as you go. I think it might be easier if we did it on the hard surface here. There we go. That's easier. So this is actually going to help our little quiche stick together. It's going to create a little more substance to our quiche. We'll get them all mashed up. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is add a can of tuna. And this is going to give some protein to our recipe. Just go ahead and put the whole can in. And mash that up in there. We might take a moment to stir up our vegetables. They're starting to brown. They're looking very nice. And about the vegetables, I just want to point out that it's best if you can chop everything up in really small bits, because these are mini quiche, and you want to get a lot of little bits of everything into each little quiche. So I chop the mushrooms and broccoli up nice and small. And then, of course, the corn is already in its kernels. And another thing I wanted to mention about the corn is that I did buy that frozen. You can also take it right off the cob. But if you buy it frozen, just make sure that you defrost the corn really well, because you don't want it to be going into your recipe frozen, because then it'll require a lot more time, and you may be off on your cooking time. So you just want to make sure, if anything that you're adding is frozen, just make sure you thaw it before you put it in the recipe. Okay, so finish mashing this up here. Get a nice mix. Alright, so that is looking nice and mixed up. Let's take a look at that there. So if you can see, you can still see the beans. They're still in there, but they're created somewhat of a paste, not a full paste. Okay, so we'll set that, actually why don't we set that here, and then I want to go ahead and add the herbs to our mix. Put that there. So again, we have basil and salt here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that right in. Sometimes it likes to stick, so make sure you get all your good ingredients into the pan. And then also some parsley, and I just want to add that today I have some dried herbs and some fresh herbs, but if you want to do all fresh, you can. It can get up to about 1 cup of fresh herbs, or you can do dry herbs. It's up to you. Go ahead and add those, and then we'll go ahead and mix that all together. Okay, starting to smell really good. And finally, we just want to add a few bits of pepper, and it's really up to you how much you add. Kind of do it by sight, how much you like. Again, we'll mix that up. Okay, and these vegetables are looking done, and it's kind of, I'd say about 5 minutes you want to cook the vegetables, so you can kind of see and smell when they start to look cooked. And the broccoli gets a really bright green color to it. It's really nice. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And now we're going to mix everything together. So we've got our bean and tuna mix. Move this here. Bean and tuna mix. We're going to mix it all into a bowl here. And this will make, for a dinner, this is going to be making about 3 servings, 3 hearty servings, but you can also take these to something like a potluck, where they can be hors d'oeuvres, something like that. They're about 90 calories each. And the final ingredient that I haven't mentioned yet is eggs. I'm keeping those in the refrigerator, so let me go grab them. I've got 4 eggs here. We'll just make sure they're all still beat up. So we've got 4 eggs scrambled up. We're just going to add that to our mix. We want to keep the eggs in the refrigerator to the last minute to make sure they're not coming to room temperature, because we want to be safe with the eggs, and if eggs sit around at room temperature, they can make us sick. So we want to keep them nice and cold in the refrigerator. Put that there. Okay, so now we can mix our vegetables in. Go ahead and do that. Oh, let's see. Make sure you can all see what I'm doing, so I'll just go ahead and mix everything in together. And like I was saying, you can try all different kinds of vegetables in this mix. It's a really great way to get a variety of vegetables into one dish. Okay, so we can mix that all together. And we don't need to cook the eggs in the pot over here because they'll be cooked in the oven in the little muffin tins. Alright, so we've got it all mixed up so you can kind of see it looks really beautiful and colorful there. And now we'll be putting them in to our little muffin tin. So pull that forward. And we want to remember to spray it out with our canola oil as well, so it doesn't stick. And canola oil is a great choice for baking because it's a heart-healthy oil, but it also doesn't have a lot of added flavor like olive oil. So if you don't want that olive oil flavor, especially if you're baking any sweet things, canola oil is a great option. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and add our mix to each tin, and I have 12 spots here, but you can use a larger or smaller tin and just do more rounds in the oven. So if I had a smaller tin, I would just make some and then take it out and use the same tin again, or you can have a couple tins going at once, depending on if you want to double the recipe, if you're taking it to a large party. Okay, so we've got getting our each one filled up here, and you don't have to worry about them rising at all. So we're going to try to fill each one to the top. And if you have a little left over, that's okay. Like I was saying, we can just cook the rest in the next batch. Great option also if you need to cook something quickly, because it really doesn't take very much time. Very nutritious, giving you the protein from the tuna and the eggs, and of course the vegetables. Okay, looks like we're putting them all in here. We need to take a little from another one. Make sure they all fit. Okay. There we go. Oh man, these are looking really good. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is just press down on each one, because we want to make sure all the air bubbles are out, and we want to make sure that the quiche really forms and creates a whole unit so that when you pick it up it doesn't fall apart. So we just want to push down lightly with your fork there, like that, for each quiche, and kind of push, if any of the ingredients have come off onto the side, kind of just push it in there. Alright, I think we're set. So as you can see, I've got all the little quiches pushed in nicely to their spots, and it might rise just a little bit, but we don't have to worry too much about that. And then again, I've got the stove set at 350 degrees. We're going to go ahead and put them in and check them at 10 minutes. The recipe calls for 10 to 15 minutes, so we're going to wait and see for them to look golden brown. So let's put them in, and I'll see you back here in about 10 minutes.